Christmas is in full swing in Blitz, and in today's video I'll be breaking down each of the different events for the holidays, starting with the snow globe event because I have a feeling that's probably the one most people are interested in, and the one that's usually got the most hype around it. So if we take a look at the event itself by clicking on the image in the garage, we can see that there are quite a few different rewards, most of them pretty boring stuff that we don't really care about, like boosters and credits, things that are nice to have but not something to really focus on in a video. I will be showing some of the camouflages and attachments that you can get, just in case you're wondering, but again, we're not really focusing on those. Our main focus is the last reward, which is the gold boosters, and then of course the very last reward, which is the Type 62 or the snow globe, or both, depending on how much you grind. And that's one thing that should be noted. This is definitely going to be a grind, because the way that you get through this event is you actually have to get these things called bells, and you get 2 of these per victory, and of course you need to get a lot of bells to get just to the gold boosters at the end. I believe is 207 of these bells, which means roughly 100, just over 100 wins. And then of course to get the Type 62 dragon alone would be like 307 bells. To get the snow globe, I think it's like 482, and to get all of them combined is like a whopping 582. So yeah, a lot of bells and a lot of wins to need to get, which is why I have actually created a calculator to kind of help with this. I will leave a link to this down in the description, but it's very straightforward. You can see it is a Christmas event calculator for 2022, and it just calculates things like how many wins you're going to need, or just how many games you're going to need to play, or how much time you're going to need to spend in minutes or hours, but it's very straightforward. You can see here the boxes that you need to fill in are very easy. Firstly, it asks how many bells you need. So for this particular example, I'm just going to go on the assumption that you want everything, so that is the 582 bells that I mentioned. Next, you'll need to put in what your average win rate is. Now, you can go ahead and go into the game and find your win rate and put this in. That will work. However, for the best results, what you're going to want to do is go to Blitz Stars, which I will also link down in the description. Go to your profile and try to figure out what your 30-day win rate is. For me, it was roughly 67.09. So by putting that in, it'll give you the best possible calculations. Next, after that, you want to figure out on average how long you're spending per game, or how long your games tend to go. For me, I tend to have longer games, so for me, I just went ahead and put in roughly 4. This is a very rough estimate, but it'll still give you kind of a general idea of how much time you're going to need to spend for this event. So once we have gone and put all those parameters in, we have 3 options. We can calculate the wins, which we can do. All we have to do is click the button, and you can see there that in order to get the 582 bells, we need 291 wins. Very straightforward. Now, it is also assuming that when you started the event on the 16th of December, you will also need to be getting a roughly 27 games a day. And of course, if you miss a day, you can expect this number to go up slightly. But moving on past that, we can also just calculate the number of games we're going to need to play, because let's be honest, 27 wins a day, well, that's a great number, but if we only have a 40% win rate, we can expect that we're going to need to play quite a few games. However, if we're a really good player and we have, like, say, a 75% win rate, that's going to be fewer games for sure, but it goes ahead and calculates this for us so that we don't have to do any of the math. And it says, for me personally, with my 67.09 win rate, it would need about 434 games total for the event in order for me to actually get all of the rewards in the event. Or we could also get about 40 games a day with that win rate to kind of get a better idea. Now, we could totally change this. For example, let's say we're not on average doing 67. Let's say instead we're doing 55%. If we calculate the games there, you can see it goes up to about 49 games a day. Or let's say we're, I don't know, maybe a 44% player. That seems a pretty common number that I see. 61 games a day, so really spending a lot of time. But going back to my original average win rate of 67.09, we can calculate again. 40 games a day. Very straightforward. The parameters will do it all for you, and it'll give you kind of a rough estimate as to how many wins, games, and hours a day, which leads me to the last thing here, calculating time, because time is an important thing, and we want to know how much time we need to spend on the event, and this takes into consideration mostly just the games. So for me, with my 67.09 win rate, getting all of the bells with roughly a 4-minute game length, that is telling me that in order to complete the event, I need to spend 1,736 minutes, or roughly 29 hours. And per day, that's roughly 2.6 hours per day, or 157.8 minutes if you really care about that. So as you can see, for me personally, even with a 67.09 win rate with roughly 4-minute games, that is still a 2.6 hours a day for everything in this event, which is a little bit extravagant. But I mean, it's free at least, which is really cool. And of course, you can go and find the calculator in the description, and you can play around with your specific settings to kind of get a good estimate as to how long you're going to need to spend, or how many games you need to play, or how many wins for the specific number of bells that you want. But I will leave that down to you because it's impossible to literally make a video with every different combination. But there you go, that is how you calculate that. Moving on now to the bottom half of this event that you might have noticed earlier, and we have these, I'm going to just call them presents. One of them is for free XP, though for now for me it just says free, and then the other one says for gold, and I believe it's like 1,500 gold. So for this event, of course, the focus is to get these snow globes, and of course, like I mentioned before, there's the snow globe that you can get completely for free in the event, but really the majority of your globes are going to come from down here. Now, real quick before I go any further, here are the drop chances for the various tanks. I'm not going to mention every single one of them again because it takes too long, but if you want to look at them, here they are. So starting with the box on the right, which is, like I said, the free XP box, this one comes for, I think it usually starts at like 25,000 free XP, and then it kind of bumps up to 50,000 free XP, and then 75,000, something like that. And then it gives you about, like, I think it's a 2%, i.e. very low drop chance for the snow globe. But if you've got a lot of free XP like me, you just got it laying around, you open a few of these, you might get lucky with a globe. I never have, but I know it is definitely a possibility, so it's definitely worth opening these up, and I'll probably make either a video or a short of me spending all of my free XP at the very end of the event. So that is the free XP boxes. Now let's take a look at the gold boxes. Now again, 1,500 gold. However, there is a nice thing that that Blitz did this year, and that is if you open 5 of these crates or 5 of these presents, you will actually get a bonus one for free, which is really cool and kind of helps, especially if you don't want to spend a ton of gold. And in here, of course, we have a better chance for snow globe. It's about 10%, so roughly 1 in 10 of these boxes will have snow globe, which means if we do the math roughly, you'd need to open about, I want to say, 100 of these in order to actually get the Stritzvon K completely guaranteed. But still, I mean, it's very variable. You might get it in just a few crates, you might get it in a bunch of crates. It really doesn't matter. The point is that it's a little bit of RNG to get this. And of course, something that I need to mention is that both of these present types, both the gold and the free XP, actually have some tanks in them. They're pretty mid-tier. I think the free XP box actually has like a few collectors. I think the maximum is a tier 5, and then the gold boxes you get like a tier 5 or 8 premium. Not really special stuff in terms of their abilities, but hey, it's free stuff, or hopefully free stuff that you get when going for the Stritzvon K. So of course, getting the Stritzvon K requires you to get 10 snow globes because well, I mean, I suppose you could get in the 1 or 2 drop chance that it is, but still, the more likely path is going to be that you're going to need to get the 10 needed. And of course, with a 10% drop chance, 10 times 10 is 100. So yeah, 100 gold boxes. But of course, if you do have a lot of the tanks that are in the snow globe, you're probably getting some gold back. I know Droodles usually gets it for maybe a few $100s, but for the average person, it's probably going to cost you, yeah, probably somewhere around $400, depending, again, RNG. So yeah, not a very cheap event. However, like I said, the free snow globe is definitely worth trying to grind. Not sure I will go for everything. Of course, I already have the Type 62 Dragon, so for me personally, grinding everything is absolutely worthless, but still, I know some people will try to do that. Now, that is, of course, not the only thing going on this Christmas. There is a second event which has to do with, what was it called? Mountains of Gifts, basically another thing in the garage for some Hollywood actors. And this is actually a much smaller, easier event. It's still win based, so you can see there you can get 5 wins a day, and each win will give you 3 tokens, which gives you 15 tokens, allowing you to get a sum total of 150 tokens, which will allow you to progress through this event. Now, again, smaller rewards, there are some interesting things here. You can see that gold boosters, some things that you can exchange, some camouflages, which I will show on screen, and then once I'm finished with that, I will then show you the profile background now that we have it. Now, you do have to get all of the wins. I believe it's, 5 times 50 wins over the course of 10 days. It's not too bad. 5 wins a day is pretty doable, especially if you're doing the other event. This event will be a complete breeze. Now, another thing that's going on are these things called gold chests or gold boxes, depending, and those are in the store. And if we take a look here, you can see there are some sort of deals on gold, and you can buy them outright. However, if you wait, you can see there's actually a meter that you can fill up, and you can fill it up by doing damage. Now, of course, Big Boss mode is out right now, so doing damage is an absolute breeze. You could probably do this in just a handful of games. I've played less than 10, and I've got almost all of them filled up. But you can see there that when you do actually do damage, and you fill these boxes up, you actually get a better deal on the gold, and you can even buy some of them more than once. Now, of course, the last thing going on this Christmas is the Blitz auctions. However, as that changes from week to week, I will just have to link to it from this video in the upper right-hand card or the description for whatever week is most recent. But anyway, that's all we have currently for Christmas. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.